Hey guys, so welcome back. In this video, we're going to be handling the leaderboards. In the previous video, we handled duplicate answers. Like sometimes a duplicate answer would show up in these options. Right now it's not playing, so it's just the default text is 5. But when it's playing, there shouldn't be any duplicate answers of any kind. Alright, so that looks good. And I tested it in between videos. I also created in between videos, I created this high score panel. Press play. Well, the leaderboards. Now there's multiple ways to do the leaderboards. I'm going to take all of the text in this dialog box and put them into an array and then order them from highest to lowest, and then the highest score will be the top, all the way to the bottom, to the lowest score. And I'm only going to do 4 scores. They're going to be saved in player prefs, and so that means that when you close the game and then come back to it, it's the high score still, the numbers would still be there, so it's saved throughout the sessions. Right. Feel free now to take the high scores. If you have any questions about how I created this, like I said, most of my UI is created through the casual game UI link, and they're linked in previous videos, but I put the link in this video description as well if you need it. But I mean, feel free to have the high score to look however you want. So the look is not really important. What's important is the text, I mean the script and its functionality. All right. I want that to be disabled. All right, so what we need to do, so if I look at this, I don't want the frame. If I look at the layout, high score 1, see high score 1, high score 2, high score 3, high score 4, you can't see it because it's disabled. I enable it, now you can see it. High score 1, 2, 3, 4. But what we need, this index is going to be it's going to be 1. Next, because those values will never change. 2. 3. 4. Increase the font size a little bit. All right. Alright, so the index will not be changing, so that text is not important. What is important is the score text, and that's what we'll need. So score. I actually want to increase the max score that you can get is 4 9s. So I can increase the size of the box, but I'll just leave it for now. So how are we going to approach this leaderboard? First of all, we need to pass this text into array. So we need a script. Well, script, we're going to call it leaderboard manager. It's going to appear in this assets folder. and you just drag it into the script folder just to keep things organized, or however you want your folder structure to be. I find that this tends to be the most organized, for me at least. So we want the high score HL. Oh, leaderboard manager. Alright, so what we want is public. We want a text array. And how we specify that, we put this square brackets. And the reason why I said text alignment and not just text is because we need to import Unity engine .ui, so we can find that text class. See, now it turns that little blue, aquamarine blue, which tells you that Unity recognizes that now. Next, and then high score text array. All right. We won't be needing, well, the start function we'll probably need, but the update we won't need for sure. Alright, we set it to 4. Then we need to pass that text. And I'm actually going to rename this score 01 just for clarity. Score 02. Score 03. And then score 04. Score 04. All right. And so now we're grabbing the text. So now we need an array list to hold the scores. So public int brackets, yep, scores. We just set this to equal 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to create this array list, private array list sort scores array. We'll just leave it like that for now. So what we can do in start function, sort scores array dot sort scores. All right, so this wouldn't work. What we need to do is this. Sort scores array equals new array list scores to convert that into an array list. All right, and then what we're gonna do is call this sort scores array dot, call this function on it, sort, and then print sort scores array, and I'm going to change the name of this variable and call it sorted scores array. If you're wondering how I open up this dialog, you just press Control Shift F. Alright, close that down. Let's give this a try. Look at the console only. I like to include the classes in my comments, but I don't think this, I really don't like this. Why? Anyway. Yep, so it printed out the array list, but not the variables. That's not what I want. I want this. So sorted array, we're gonna get 0, 1, 2, and I'm going to create a loop to handle all of this, but just for debugging purposes. Alright, start. Alright, so we got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at the default array. It's 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's mix it up. Alright, then I go back to Unity. And I go to score, size is 4. And then let's just mix it up. So 1000, 100, 150, 5000, and 2. Alright. That, press play. Check out the console. 2, 100, 150, 5000. Let's just look at the inspector. It's already in order for the most part. But I mean, the 2 got put in the right spot, which is good. But anyway, we know that it works. We use that function arraylist.sort. All right. And so we need to save save the points. Whatever points get added into the scores, we need to be able to save it. And we can do that with player prefs. Now, before we get that just yet, because let's just say, let's call player prefs start set int score 20. Right? This is the line of code that you use to save the score. And how do we know that it's been saved? We can do print player prefs saved score and it's just a comment plus player prefs dot get int score. Remember those parentheses. I'm missing one at the end. Missing one. All right. Press play. Look at the console. Player prefs save score 20. Perhaps you're still skeptical. That didn't work. That did not work. All right. Let's try 5,000. Better yet, let's try scores 3. All right, save score 2. Okay. Let's look at the inspector. What is element 3? 2. Now that we know that that's saved. Now, we need to save these scores. And this is a new approach. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to create a function. Public void save score. All right, so we're going to call this function save score, and it's going to take an int score. Int score. All right, and we need another array, private Arraylist new session array. The reason why I'm calling it a new session array, so say you're playing the game. Dot add score. So why am I creating this function? I'm creating this function so say you are playing the game and you got the final score. Right? It needs to be able to save that score. But say if you play it again, say if you play it 4, 5, 6 times, we need those scores. This game needs the scores to be saved in order to sort them out. And then once they're saved, and so that's the reason why it's called new session array, because every time a new session is created, this array needs to be created as well. Why is it being called private? Because nothing should be accessing it. This function will be public. That way I can call it from the game manager to save that score. But the array itself is going to be private. No other class besides the leaderboard manager is going to have this. Let's just base that out. All right. And so then what we're going to need? We're going to need another function, public void create new leaderboard. And this is where the for loop is going to come in. And how am I going to do this? This is pretty new to me as well. All right, so we're going to save each number in the high score. That's going to be its like sort of player pref name. So what we're going to do, we're going to call new session array dot add. We call player pref dot get int high score 0, 1. And if it doesn't exist, just put it as 0. High score 0, 2. Once again, if it doesn't exist, 0. High score 0, 3. And then high score 0, 4. All right. Once that's added in, we're going to call new session array dot sort. Now, if we look from the console, it sorts from least to greatest. So that's 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. How do we verify that? If you go to the start function that prints out those commands in the first place, we can see 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, and so this is where the for loop comes in. For int I equals equals 0, I plus plus, sorry, I less than new session array dot length dot size. Come on, what is it? Count, let's count I plus plus in fact we don't even need to go through the entire array, right? Because once it's sorted, we only need the highest 4. All right. So we're going to take this high score text array dot text. Whoop. We need to call I. So it's this. I take that back. I've made a mistake. So I can't equal 0 because when I call this sort, it's sorting from, it will sort from least to greatest. Now I only want the 4 greatest. So we need to start a new session array dot count. All right, and we need to go backwards. All right, because if you go back to Unity, if we look back at Unity, right, this is the beginning of the array and this is the end. We need to go from here and then work our way up. That's what we need to do. Go from here, work our way up. All right. So new session array dot count. So I is equal to the size of the array. I as long as I is greater than new session array minus 4. Whoop. Right, because we only want us to do this 4 times. All right, it complained about something, but I'll fix that. So, all right, and so now we need to get the highest. We need to go through, while this for loop is running, we also need to go through the high score text array. Now, how are we going to do this? We can't put in I because say if the new session array size is 20, that's going to throw an index out of bounds error because we don't have a 20th element in the high score text array. Right? When you have 4 elements, so what we could do, we could take the new session array count minus I. So what does this mean? What is it saying? Whoop. Dot text equals new session array I dot to string. All right, so it looks like a lot happened. This is like a very weird line of code. So what's going on here? So we're grabbing the text element in this high score text array, and we want to grab the first element. And how do we grab the first element? Well, we can't set it to I because I is set to the size of the new session array, and that size can be, 20, 30, 40. It can be up there. And so what we need to do is we get the count and we just minus by the I because I is going to be set to the count. And so it's going to be 0. When I equals 1, this count is still going to be the same. Sorry, when I is 1 less than the new session array count, then it's going to produce 1. And so it's going to get the next text in that array. We want the text component, and then we're going to equal to the new session array.I. Because we want the greatest value, and we want to set it to toString. And that's how it's going to work. And so this code here can be commented out. This code here. Can be commented out as well. I'm looking at this warning. Oh, that's what's. So new session array equals new array list for that. So this brings up a question: Do we even need this? Do we even need the scores? We don't need the scores anymore. We also don't need the sorted text array, sorted scores array. But I'm actually going to keep that. Okay, no, we don't need that. Okay. So let's just give this a test. So what we're going to do, we need to go to the pause menu. Pause menu, enable that. And then we need to get access to the leaderboard menu. I probably should name that leaderboards menu button. Because that's what it is. It's going to activate the high score panel. So this already has a function attached to it. So let's go to the game manager, activate high score panel. So what we need here in the game manager is a public leaderboard manager leaderboard. Once we have that, then activate the high score panel. What we need to do, before we set it to true, we need leaderboard create new leaderboard. All right, now that's created. What else do we need to do? We need to pass the leaderboard into the game manager so the game manager can see that. All right, save project, save. Let's give this a test. Leaderboards. Uh-oh. What is this? Okay, I'm back. So in the last part, we was getting the null reference pointer error. And basically what I had to do was just set the new session array equals new array list. And then I put the scores into it. And you probably don't even need the scores. So I sent this as blank. And then run it again. Yeah, you don't even need that. So once that got cleared up, I like this. I'm going to put for testing. It's good to comment your code to try to figure out what's going on, what's the issue. Now, if you notice that this for loop, I made a few changes. Now, the reason why I have this -1 here at the end is because this count starts from 1. It doesn't start from 0. And so what ends up happening, if you use an account and array with 4 elements, right? Now, if count was 0 base, it would be 0, 1, 2, 3 for the 4 elements. But because count starts from 1, it ends up with 1, 2, 3, 4. And so when I run this, in fact, I'm going to just run it to show you guys. All right, I'm going to run this. So you notice that the count is 4. Right? But the index, if you look, we print the leaderboard manager index index I, you notice that it starts at 3. And so that's why I needed to set so that's why I need to set, because because the I is the 0 base in the array, we can count, we want to get 3 and not 4. And so we start from 3, and then 2, then 1, and then 0. And that's basically what's happening here. And so when we go to the first, we want to get the first one. So this is going to be, say if this is 4, the I is going to be 3, but we need to add 1 to it. We put it into parentheses because we don't want the subtraction to happen and then the 1. So imagine we get 4 minus 3 and then plus 1. So we get 4 minus 3 gives a 1, and then the plus 1 is a 2. And so we don't want that. What we want is the 3 plus the 1 first. That's why we put it in brackets. So we get the 4 minus 4. Then once I goes down, so 4 minus 2 plus 1, we get 3. So on and so forth. And we get 2. Well, 4 minus 2 plus 1 is 3, so we get the 1, sorry. Alright. And so that's what's going on there. Now, there's one more thing we need to do, is that we need to set so how am I going to do this? So we want player prefs dot set int right, so since it's starting from 0 again, we go high score 0, right, plus new session dot count minus I plus 1. We want this again. Now that's it. That will return an int, and that's why we're getting the red squiggly line, plus the line is not complete, so we can call toString. Make sure there isn't any space, because we need this to match up these keys, or this string needs to map up. So we just high score 0, 1, no space. Make sure there's no space in the parentheses. And then end. Oh. And we're still not finished. So we got high score 0, 1. We need to set it to the value. So new session array. I. And so make sure to put this int in parentheses, and it's basically to cast the element from that array into as an int. Say accept that value, a data value as an int. But before we can really test this, we need to save the score. We're not saving the score anywhere. So we get this function save score. Are we keeping track of points in the game manager? Text. We have points value. And so once reset is called, we need to call leaderboard dot save score points value. Save score. So now let's give that a test. Now it's saving the score. Let's create the leaderboard from the get-go. The reason why we have to do this is because we'll probably change this around, but because when you click to reset, it restarts the game, and you'd have to stop the game just to stop the game just to get to the leaderboard. And what this causes an issue because once the score is added to the array, that's good. But once the game is stopped, the score is never fully saved. And so we got to run it to the create new leaderboard to make sure that it fully gets saved into this player prefabs. And that's only if it's a high enough score, because once the sort gets called, and so let's just say, right, we have 10, 20, 30, and then 40, right? If we played a game and we got score 15, then we want to add that to the array, create a new leaderboard. That's what this function is called, because we need to cut that 10, right, and just have 15. So then 15, 20, 30, and then 40. So that's why we have this code in there. So let's give that a try. So leaderboard 0. Start. So it doesn't matter, we just want to get points. 60. I'm only going to get it till the timer goes down to 2 seconds. 9 seconds. Alright. Then we let it go down. That's it. The reset is activated. So we press the reset. We get a null reference exception. I'm gonna do this. Do Arraylist, because that's where it actually needs to be. Alright, nothing. Start. One more go. Fingers crossed. This is it. This is the lucky go. Alright, I'm only clicking so much because I want the timer to get shorter and shorter by more questions that you ask. But let's just do that 340. Alright, so the timer is going to run out. Press 1, reset. Stop, press start. Leaderboard 340. Well, that's good. We still have an issue here with the 340 showing up, but let's start, and then let's get a 15, 70. All right, let the time run out. Reset, pause it, run it again. Leaderboard 340, 340, 340, 340. So I'm looking at the player. So new session array dot add score. and then it's gonna get, if it doesn't have a value, then it's gonna set it to 0. All right. This video is pretty long enough. I'm gonna stop it here for now, but I'll take another look at it and I'll get you guys with the updated stuff tomorrow. But this is a start, and this is good progress. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is one of my more experimental videos. I haven't done a leaderboard like this before. And like I said, there's other ways to do it. Make sure to put your comments in the comment section below. But thank you for walking down this journey with me.